Something massive is happening behind the scenes with XRP right now, and most people still have no idea how big this could become. Reports are spreading across the crypto world that thousands of banks and financial institutions are once again paying close attention to Ripple and XRP as global payment systems continue to change faster than ever before. The biggest question investors are asking right now is simple. Why are banks suddenly talking about Ripple again? And what does this mean for XRP holders? In today's video, we are going to break down the latest developments, the hidden signals many people missed, and why some analysts believe this could be one of the most important moments in XRP history. Make sure you stay until the end because the final update could completely change how people look at XRP in the coming months. Over the past few years, the crypto market has gone through massive changes, but one thing has remained constant. Ripple has continued building relationships with financial institutions around the world, while many other crypto projects struggled just to survive. Now, new discussions inside the banking sector are creating major excitement among XRP holders because the financial world appears to be moving toward faster and cheaper cross border payments, and Ripple is once again at the center of that conversation. The phrase 5,000 banks sent an XRP alert is getting attention because many investors believe the banking industry is preparing for a major transformation in international payments. Traditional banking systems are slow, expensive, and outdated. A simple international transfer can take several days to settle, while fees continue increasing for both banks and customers. This problem has existed for decades, and Ripple created XRP specifically to solve it. Ripple's technology allows money to move across borders in seconds instead of days. Transactions are fast, low cost, and scalable. That is exactly why banks have continued testing Ripple's payment systems even during difficult periods in the crypto market. While retail investors were focused on meme coins and short term hype, Ripple continued expanding partnerships and improving infrastructure behind the scenes. What makes the current situation more interesting is the timing. Around the world, financial systems are under pressure to modernize. Governments are discussing digital currencies, central banks are exploring blockchain solutions, and financial institutions are searching for ways to reduce costs while increasing transaction speed. XRP supporters believe Ripple is perfectly positioned for this next phase of global finance. Another reason this topic is exploding online is because many investors think banks are no longer ignoring crypto. Instead, they are carefully selecting which digital assets can actually solve real world problems. XRP has always been marketed as a utility based asset instead of just a speculative coin. That difference is becoming more important now because institutions care about efficiency, regulations, and practical use cases rather than internet hype. The Ripple versus SEC battle also changed the public perception of XRP. For years, uncertainty around regulation kept many institutions cautious. But after Ripple achieved major legal victories, confidence started returning to the market. Many investors now believe banks feel more comfortable discussing XRP because the regulatory environment is becoming clearer. Social media has added even more fuel to the excitement. XRP communities are spreading theories that major banking networks could soon increase Ripple adoption on a global level. Some people believe financial institutions are quietly preparing for a future where blockchain technology becomes part of everyday banking operations. Whether all predictions become reality or not, one thing is clear. XRP is once again becoming one of the most talked about digital assets in crypto. Market analysts are also noticing increased attention around Ripple's role in liquidity solutions. XRP can be used as a bridge currency between different fiat currencies, removing the need for banks to hold large amounts of money in foreign accounts around the world. This could potentially save billions of dollars for financial institutions over time. That idea alone is why many XRP supporters remain extremely bullish despite years of market volatility. Right now, the biggest thing driving excitement is anticipation. Investors feel like something larger may be developing behind the scenes. The banking industry is evolving, global payment systems are changing, and Ripple continues positioning itself as a company ready for institutional finance. That combination is why many XRP holders believe this moment could become a turning point for the future of XRP. One of the biggest reasons XRP supporters are becoming excited again is because the global banking system is reaching a point where change is no longer optional. Financial institutions around the world are dealing with rising costs, slower settlement systems, and increasing pressure from customers who expect instant transactions in a digital age. Traditional banking methods were built decades ago, and many experts believe those systems simply cannot keep up with the speed of modern finance anymore. This is exactly where Ripple enters the conversation once again. Ripple has spent years promoting the idea that cross border payments should move as easily as sending a text message. Instead of waiting several business days for international transfers to settle, Ripple's technology allows transactions to complete within seconds. That difference may sound small to regular people, but for banks handling billions of dollars every day, faster settlement can completely transform efficiency and reduce operational costs on a massive scale. Many people in the crypto space believe banks are now paying closer attention because global competition is increasing rapidly. Financial institutions do not want to fall behind while technology continues evolving. Countries are exploring digital payment systems. Central bank digital currencies are becoming more serious discussions, and blockchain technology is no longer viewed as just an experiment. Major institutions are beginning to understand that blockchain could become a key part of future banking infrastructure. This is one reason why XRP continues attracting attention despite years of criticism from doubters. Ripple was never focused only on retail investors. The company consistently targeted institutions, banks, and payment providers from the beginning. While many crypto projects focus mainly on online hype, Ripple focused on building systems that financial companies could actually use in the real world. That strategy may now be starting to pay off as the industry shifts toward practical utility instead of speculation alone. Another important factor is liquidity. Banks around the world currently lock trillions of dollars inside foreign accounts just to support international transfers. Ripple's on demand liquidity system, powered by XRP, aims to solve this problem by allowing instant conversion between currencies without requiring pre funded accounts in multiple countries. Supporters believe this could eventually free enormous amounts of capital for banks while making global payments far more efficient. The growing conversation around XRP is also connected to fear of missing out. Many investors remember how quickly crypto markets can move when institutions begin entering a sector. Bitcoin experienced major growth when companies and funds started adding exposure. Ethereum gained huge attention because of smart contracts and decentralized finance. XRP supporters now believe Ripple could experience a similar institutional wave if banks increase adoption of blockchain based payment systems. At the same time, many retail investors feel XRP has been underestimated for years. They argue that while the market focused on short term trends, Ripple continued expanding partnerships and building financial connections worldwide. This belief has created a strong sense of loyalty within the XRP community because supporters feel the project survived years of legal pressure, criticism, and uncertainty while continuing to grow behind the scenes. Another major topic creating excitement is regulation. Large financial institutions usually avoid uncertainty because they cannot risk operating in unclear legal environments. Ripple's legal progress against the SEC gave many investors confidence that XRP could eventually receive broader institutional acceptance in the United States and beyond. If clearer regulations continue developing, Supporters believe banks may become even more open to blockchain based payment systems. Social media influencers and crypto analysts are adding more energy to the discussion by claiming the banking sector may already be preparing for larger digital asset integration. Some predictions are extremely aggressive, with people suggesting XRP could become a bridge asset for global finance. While no one knows exactly how far adoption could go, the possibility alone is enough to keep investors watching every Ripple development very closely. The most important thing to understand is that XRP supporters are not only focused on price, many believe the real opportunity comes from utility. If Ripple technology becomes deeply integrated into international banking systems, XRP could potentially play a larger role in global payments than many people currently imagine. That belief is why excitement continues growing every time banks, institutions, or financial organizations mention blockchain modernization. As excitement around XRP continues building, many investors are now looking closely at the bigger global picture instead of focusing only on daily price movements. The financial world is changing rapidly, and some analysts believe we are entering a period where digital assets could become part of mainstream banking faster than most people expect. This is exactly why Ripple keeps appearing in major conversations about the future of finance. One of the biggest reasons banks are interested in blockchain technology is speed. Traditional international transfers often move through multiple intermediaries before reaching the final destination. Every step adds delays, extra fees, and operational complexity. For businesses sending large amounts of money across borders, this process can become expensive and frustrating. Ripple's network was designed to remove many of these inefficiencies by allowing near instant settlement between different currencies. Supporters of XRP believe this is where the real value exists. Instead of being used only for speculation, XRP was created as a bridge asset that can help move value quickly between financial systems. This idea becomes more important as global commerce continues expanding. Companies now operate internationally more than ever before, and demand for faster payments keeps increasing. Banks understand this pressure because customers expect financial services to move at the same speed as modern technology. Another major reason XRP is gaining attention again is because institutions are becoming more comfortable discussing blockchain openly. A few years ago, many banks avoided crypto conversations completely because the industry looked unstable and risky. Now the situation is changing. Governments are researching digital currencies, financial firms are testing blockchain systems, and large institutions are investing billions into financial technology upgrades. The conversation is no longer about whether digital finance will grow. The conversation is about which systems will lead the future. Ripple has positioned itself directly inside that discussion. The company consistently markets itself as a bridge between traditional finance and blockchain technology. This strategy separates Ripple from many crypto projects that operate completely outside the banking system. Ripple wants to work with banks, not replace them. That difference is very important because financial institutions usually prefer solutions that integrate with existing systems instead of destroying them completely. Many XRP supporters also believe the market still does not fully understand Ripple's long term vision. They argue that most people only look at XRP's price charts while ignoring the infrastructure Ripple has spent years building globally. Ripple expanded partnerships across multiple regions, including Asia, the Middle East, Europe, and Latin America. These partnerships created confidence among investors who believe Ripple has been preparing quietly for large scale adoption over time. The growing interest around tokenization is also helping XRP remain relevant. Financial experts are increasingly discussing a future where assets such as stocks, bonds, and currencies move across blockchain networks. If global finance becomes more digital, fast settlement systems will become even more valuable. XRP supporters believe Ripple's technology could play an important role in that transition because of its focus on liquidity and payment efficiency. Another factor driving excitement is market psychology. Crypto investors know that narratives can change extremely fast. A project ignored for years can suddenly become the center of attention if institutional demand increases. This is why many XRP holders stay patient despite market volatility. They believe that if banks begin adopting Ripple solutions more aggressively, public perception of XRP could shift dramatically in a very short period. At the same time, speculation continues growing online. Some influencers claim banks are already preparing systems connected to blockchain infrastructure behind closed doors. Others believe financial institutions are waiting for clearer regulations before moving more aggressively into digital assets. While many of these claims remain unconfirmed, they continue fueling excitement across the XRP community because investors see potential signs of future adoption everywhere. There is also a growing belief that Ripple's timing may finally be improving. During previous crypto bull markets, regulatory uncertainty created major obstacles for XRP. Now that Ripple has achieved important legal progress and the crypto industry is becoming more mature, supporters feel conditions may finally be aligning in Ripple's favor. This combination of institutional interest, improving regulation, and global payment modernization is why many investors think XRP could be entering a completely new phase. Right now, nobody knows exactly how large Ripple's future role could become. But one thing is certain: banks are paying attention to blockchain technology more seriously than ever before, and XRP continues remaining part of that global conversation. The most interesting part about the current XRP discussion is that many investors believe the real story is still happening quietly behind the scenes. While the crypto market often focuses on short term price movements and viral trends, large financial institutions usually move very differently. Banks do not rush into public announcements overnight. They spend years testing systems, studying regulations, and preparing infrastructure before making major changes. This is exactly why many XRP supporters believe the recent attention around Ripple could be more important than people realize. Around the world, governments and central banks are working toward digital transformation. Financial systems built decades ago are now struggling to meet modern demands. Consumers expect instant payments. Businesses want lower transaction costs, and global trade continues expanding faster every year. The old banking model cannot easily support this future without significant upgrades. Ripple's technology was designed specifically for this kind of environment, which is why so many investors believe XRP could eventually benefit from global financial modernization. Another important factor is trust. Banks care deeply about reliability, compliance, and security. They cannot simply adopt random technologies without proper testing because the entire financial system depends on stability. Ripple spent years trying to position itself as a professional, enterprise focused company rather than just another crypto startup. This approach helped Ripple build relationships with payment providers and financial institutions across different countries. Supporters believe those relationships may become even more valuable as digital finance continues growing. The XRP community also points toward Ripple's expanding ecosystem as a reason for optimism. Ripple is not only focused on payments anymore. The company continues exploring tokenization, stablecoins, liquidity solutions, and partnerships connected to blockchain infrastructure. Investors believe this broader strategy could increase Ripple's importance in the future financial system if blockchain adoption continues accelerating worldwide. One major topic creating excitement recently is Ripple's stablecoin initiative known as RLUSD. Many analysts believe stablecoins could become extremely important for global finance because they combine blockchain speed with price stability. If Ripple successfully integrates stablecoin systems with its payment network, supporters think it could strengthen Ripple's position even further within institutional finance. This is why many XRP holders are closely watching every update connected to Ripple's expansion plans. At the same time, market experts continue debating how large XRP adoption could realistically become. Some analysts remain cautious and argue that the banking sector moves slowly, especially when regulations are still evolving in different countries. Others believe the transition toward blockchain based finance is already accelerating faster than many expected. This difference in opinion creates strong emotions inside the crypto market because investors know that major institutional adoption could completely change XRP's future. Another reason people are paying attention is because global financial competition is increasing rapidly. Countries want faster payment systems, lower transaction costs, and stronger economic efficiency. Financial institutions know they cannot afford to ignore innovation forever because competitors are constantly searching for technological advantages. Ripple's supporters believe this pressure could eventually push more banks toward blockchain solutions, especially if those systems prove cheaper and faster than traditional methods. Social media has amplified the excitement even more. Every new Ripple partnership, banking rumor, or regulatory update spreads across the XRP community within minutes. This creates momentum because investors feel like they are watching the early stages of a much larger transformation. Some predictions online are extremely bold, with people claiming XRP could eventually become one of the most important assets in digital finance. While nobody can guarantee those outcomes, the level of confidence inside the XRP community continues growing. Another key point is that institutional finance usually rewards patience. Large scale financial changes do not happen in a single week or even a single year. Ripple supporters often argue that the company has been preparing for long term adoption from the very beginning. Instead of chasing temporary hype cycles, Ripple focused on infrastructure, partnerships, and real world utility. That strategy may finally start receiving more attention as the market matures and investors search for projects with actual use cases. Right now, XRP holders believe they are standing at a critical moment. The banking industry is evolving, blockchain adoption is increasing, and Ripple remains deeply connected to conversations about the future of payments. Whether adoption grows slowly or accelerates rapidly, many investors feel the next few years could become some of the most important years in XRP history. As we look at everything happening around Ripple and XRP right now, one thing becomes very clear. The conversation is no longer only about cryptocurrency trading. The discussion has become much bigger than that. Banks, governments, payment providers, and financial institutions around the world are all searching for faster and more efficient systems to move money in the digital age. That global shift is exactly why XRP continues attracting attention despite years of controversy, market volatility, and legal battles. Many XRP supporters believe the current situation feels different from previous market cycles. In the past, crypto prices often moved mostly because of hype and speculation. But now investors are paying closer attention to utility, regulation, and institutional adoption. Ripple supporters argue that XRP has always been focused on solving a real financial problem, which is cross border payments. If the world truly moves toward blockchain powered finance, they believe XRP could eventually benefit in a major way. At the same time, it is important to remain realistic. The crypto market is still highly unpredictable, and no one can guarantee how quickly institutional adoption will happen. Banks move carefully, regulations continue changing, and competition inside the blockchain industry remains very strong. Many projects are trying to become part of the future financial system, which means Ripple still faces challenges ahead. But despite those challenges, XRP continues staying relevant in global financial discussions, and that alone keeps investors interested. Another reason excitement continues growing is because Ripple survived some of the toughest moments in crypto history. The SEC lawsuit created fear and uncertainty for years, yet Ripple continued expanding operations and defending its position. Many XRP holders believe that survival strengthened the project and proved Ripple was willing to fight for its long term vision. As regulatory clarity slowly improves, supporters think confidence around XRP could continue increasing over time. The banking industry itself is also changing rapidly. Digital payments are becoming more important every year, and consumers now expect instant transactions in almost every part of life. Financial institutions understand that outdated systems cannot support future demand forever. This creates opportunities for companies offering faster and cheaper alternatives. Ripple wants to become one of those solutions, and XRP supporters believe the company is already positioned ahead of many competitors because of years spent building institutional relationships.